They come for the drama and the thrill, and in the past 2 days, a string of 3 deadly accidents.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at 10 daredevils who lost their lives during crazy stunts.
People have a hard time understanding that what we do is possible without being crazy, risk-driven freaks.
For this list, we'll be looking at daredevils who performed fatal final stunts. We're excluding stunt persons such as Dar Robinson, who performed deadly feats as part of the film and television industry. Which of these stunts do you deem as the most dangerous? Let us know in the comments. Kirk Jones. Niagara Falls has long been a destination for would-be daredevils.
Since the 1800s, many daredevils have tried to conquer Niagara Falls for fame and fortune. Sadly, several died in their attempts, like Kirk Jones.
Unfortunately, the falls have also claimed several victims. Kirk Jones was one such person, with an important distinction. In 2003, Jones was actually the first person to go over the largest of the falls, Horseshoe Falls, without any flotation device and survive.
To his surprise, and to everybody else's, he crawled out on the rocks and gave a big, hey, I did it.
Reportedly, he initially said that he was trying to take his own life, although this story changed over the years. After the jump, he performed stunts with a circus and returned for another attempt in 2017, this time with a large inflatable ball. The attempt proved fatal. He may have been thrown out of the ball in the rapids above America Falls, which no one has ever survived a fall from. Lim Ba. This self-cleansing regimen went way too far. In 2017, Malaysian medium Lim Ba, also known as Black Dog, was attempting to steam himself inside a giant metal pot. Lim had actually performed this stunt multiple times in the past without incident, sometimes steaming himself with rice, vegetables, and buns.
The ritual required an individual to be steamed alive on top of burning coal while being covered by a large metal container.
This occasion was different, however, and Lim's followers reported desperate knocks from inside the pot. Sadly, Lim suffered a heart attack and second-degree burns during the stunt and was pronounced dead at the scene.
Lim was attempting to break the current steaming man record of 75 minutes.
Todd Green. The art of wing walking is as impressive as it is dangerous and has claimed a number of lives. Todd Green was one of these, perishing in 2011 after a wing walk went south.
Wing walker Todd Green fell 200 feet to his death during a stunt he attempted 3 times during yesterday's air show here at Saltridge.
Green was performing at an air show in Michigan and attempted to transfer from an airplane to the skid of a helicopter. He lost his footing, however, and plummeted to his death.
Todd Green leaves a wife and son.
Green's tragic passing was witnessed by those in attendance at the air show, many of whom spoke to the media after the event.
We thought it was like a guy falling out with a parachute because earlier there was parachute guys falling from planes, but it didn't look good.
Henry Rowland. This American daredevil wasn't the only one with the moniker Human Fly, but he was arguably one of the most famous. This was due to Rowland's relatively flashy public persona while at the height of his fame during the 1920s and 30s.
Henry would stop and perform and collect donations town to town to cover their living expenses.
He had already dodged death once, thanks to a well-publicized fall in 1926 from the 3rd floor of the McAlpin Hotel in New York City that sent him to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Still, this didn't stop him from getting back on the proverbial horse, this time with less fortunate results. Henry Rowlands died in 1937 at the Otway Fair in Greenville, Tennessee, after wind blew out his trapeze bar. There was no safety net. Matt Cranch. A safety net might have saved the life of Henry Rowland, but what about when the very item that's supposed to save you fails? This was the unfortunate fate of English daredevil Matt Cranch, who was attempting a human cannonball stunt back in 2011. The tragic accident took place at a stunt show in Kent, England, after Cranch fell from a 40-foot height.
Yesterday, seconds after this picture was taken,
it went badly wrong.
The safety net that was in place featured a quick release mechanism that was improperly set. This resulted in it collapsing when Cranch hit the net.
A net gave way and a 23-year-old man has lost his life. The area where the accident occurred was in view of the public and they saw what happened.
His boss, Scott May, pleaded guilty to health and safety violations in 2016. Pavel Kashin. Parkour can mean different things to different people. Ultimately, though, whether you practice parkour for fun or for health, it could involve certain risks. Tragically, Russian freerunner Pavel Kashin lost his life in a stunt gone wrong in 2013. Kashin was performing a backflip on the edge of a 16-story apartment building. His final jump was actually successful, with Kashin pulling off the backflip. Unfortunately, however, he then lost his footing, falling down 200 feet onto the pavement below. Audrey Mestre. French freediver Audrey Mestre loved the water.
Mucha gente tiene miedo y se preocupa por cosas que no saben, que no entienden.
Her family were seasoned in all sorts of aquatic activities, from snorkeling to scuba diving. Mestre herself became a record-setting freediver, descending to an astonishing 427 feet on a single breath of air. However, a 2002 attempt to break a new world record was fatal and controversial.
On October 12, 2002, Audrey Mestre attempted to break the No Limits world record by diving 564 feet on a single breath of air.
Once she reached a diving depth of 561 feet, she discovered that the air tank meant to inflate her lift bag was empty. A rescue diver used his air supply to inflate the bag, but Mestre ended up being underwater for over 8 minutes before being brought to the surface.
The moment the people at the surface knew something was terribly awry was when the lift bag came to the surface and there was no Audrey.
And of course, at that point, my heart probably was beating probably 3 times faster than normal because I knew that something had happened to her.
The freediving community was particularly critical of her husband, considering the attempt ill-prepared and organized. Gigi Wu. Known as the bikini hiker, Taiwan's Gigi Wu became famous on social media for her photos of herself on mountaintops wearing a bikini. Wu was an experienced hiker who always arrived prepared and with proper safety equipment. However, in January of 2019, Gigi Wu suffered an accidental fall into a gorge during a hike on Taiwan's Jupen Mountain. Wu was unable to move her legs after the 100-foot drop and called for help, but it did not arrive in time. Wu died, possibly from hypothermia, before rescue crews could reach her location. Kyle Lee stalking. It's an age-old adage, but it definitely bears repeating. Don't try this at home. Kyle Lee stalking tragically didn't heed this warning after attempting to replicate a stunt he viewed on YouTube. Stalking was 22 years old when the Utah native attempted a dangerous rope swing stunt at the state's Corona Arch in 2013. Stalking was unprepared for his attempt and made the fatal mistake of miscalculating the length of his rope. As a result, the excess slack sent Stalking crashing into the ground. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Dean Potter and Graham Hunt. Base jumping must be a hell of a rush, but it's also one of the most dangerous extreme sports out there.
3, 2, 1, see ya. In
2015, 43-year-old Dean Potter, famous for his extreme feats in a variety of sports, attempted a base jump at Yosemite National Park, California, with his apprentice, 29-year-old Graham Hunt.
On Saturday, Potter and fellow flyer Graham Hunt jumped off Taft Point in Yosemite National Park. Base jumping is illegal in Yosemite, and 5 people have died doing it.
Base jumping is actually illegal in United States national parks, but that hasn't stopped people. Sadly, the two suffered a fatal crash into a ridge at Yosemite's Taft Point. Reportedly, Potter suffered a head-on collision, while Hunt hit the ridge with his body.
Dean had a total grasp of what the ultimate consequence was. He could block that out and really channel his focus into pushing the limits, really going where no human had ever gone before.